So, he wanted to, think very dark thoughts about having his family under the bar and other bits and pieces.
One of the toughest strongmen in history, right here.
It's not a beauty contest. This is Strongman. Oh, yeah! Have to be alive if you can't do that. And away we go!
Welcome to the Giants Life podcast. I'm Radzi, this is Darren, and our guest for this week is none other than former World's Strongest Man competitor and now strength coach to the strength gods, Rob Frampton.
How we doing?
Good, mate. Can we first of all talk about these tattoos? Because I think if people haven't seen you before, they'll think you're a scary man. You're a lovely man, but the tattoos, they're special.
Yeah, they've been a thing that I've had for the last probably 30 years. I got my first one when I was about 19. And they just, I don't know, I just like making myself stand out, really, and wasting copious amounts of money and hours and time. But I love them. It's just part of me, and I've obviously been known for the tattoos for the last sort of 30 years. So, I'll just keep getting little additions and fresh ones. And then,
how much money have you spent, I think, over the years? Have you ever added it up?
Maybe 10 grand, maybe.
Is it?
Yeah. A lot of them I've had abroad, and they've been like, all like just designed there and there. So nothing really. You get like a stencil one, and they, you can get different designs and they stencil them. But a lot of stuff I've had in the past, and the one I just had recently is being just hand done. So sort of there and then designed and sort of put on like that way. So yeah, quite a bit of money. But
I'm going to ask the obvious question: how painful was the scalp?
It's not that bad. I've got quite a good high pain threshold. Obviously with he's a strongman, kind of, numbs you. It's like, Katie asked, it's like having a bottom of an empty saucepan and then tapping on the bottom of it with like a knife. It's that hollow. Darren know about my brain. Like hollow. So it's like that. And it's kind of like a scratchy pain.
Because you mentioned Katie,
yeah.
That's your significant other. Yeah, that's what it says on the side of your head.
Yeah, that's her. So hopefully she'll stay with me for a few more years. So it's going to be a real.
It's going to be awkward if not, isn't it?
It's going to be. I'm going to have to start picking up some other ladies later with hopefully with the same name. We'll get it totally blacked out. But I think we're all right. I think we're safe. Yeah.
If I was to put you on the spot and do that picture there, Eddie Hall pulling 500 kilos, 2016 in the Leeds Arena. The bit that a lot of people know is obviously he does it. Not as many people would know that you were one of the men behind it.
Yeah. We got together and got him very, very much ready for that in the physical and the mental sense. And there wasn't many people, I think Darren would agree, there wasn't many people when he came to Darren and Colin and said that, he wants to pull 500. I think a lot of people were like poo-pooing it and thinking, like, can it be done? But I think there was only a few of us, wasn't there, mate, that...
I always get asked, did I think he could do it? And I think Eddie thinks that I think he couldn't do it. I mean, that contradicts the fact that I put a full show on and the fact that I'm doing it. But honestly, I would say I was probably less than 50% confident to do it. That's the honest truth. And I'd never put that across to anybody because obviously we were wanting a great show and we'd had a big crowd there in Leeds Arena. But the honest truth, I was, he sent me some videos. So he wanted the weight to go from 465 to 500. Now 465 was a new world record. Obviously Jerry, Benny and himself pulled that. But other people that were going to be coming didn't want to come, like Brian Shaw didn't, thought it was too big a jump, thought no one would do it. The other guys that were in the running for it, like Jerry and Benedict, which were very much in the running for it, they were really strong guys. Benny, a former world record holder, Jerry was always there or thereabouts. I think that because Eddie was so like, I want to go for 500, I think they were in a position where, right, okay, well, we're going to have to then. I think there was so much testosterone, it was like, we're not going to say, well, actually, we want to do can we do 480? Which I think they'd have done that, actually. I think that obviously they failed the 500. Benny got it moving. Jerry, to be fair to him, had a long way and had a bit of a bad hamstring as well. But I think those guys around were not far off 500, somewhere between 480 and 490, which is massive.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot on top of the world record.
Yeah.
But as far as believing it, I think obviously Eddie believed it, and I think everyone else was 50-50 at most.
What did you actually do to prepare him for it? Because I think in terms of preparation, when I've seen the likes of Makarov go for it, for example, you see a different level of preparation that you and Eddie brought to the table.
Yeah, I mean, as we know, Eddie is such a bespoke athlete. So he's tapping into things that trigger, not anger as such, but other things that, emotions. So, he wanted to, think very dark thoughts about having his family under the bar and other bits and pieces. And I just see it, I think we touched on it before, about getting ready with his emotions, getting ready with actually the lift. And we didn't ever say through the months and months we prepped him, but especially on the day, we didn't mention nor did we write down any numbers. We did a tick sheet on a whiteboard in the back, which was warm up, lift 1, lift 2, lift 3. So as he warmed up in the back, he warmed up 400 kilos, and then went out. I think his first pull was 430, was it back then? I think, and then the world record there.
I think it might have been 420.
Yeah. So when he came back with 420, we just put a line through the lift. We didn't put if it was 420. We just put the line because that was his first lift.
So he simplified it to 3 lifts.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
There's the down in, and then if you simplify that into a rhythm of just 3 lifts, and then that's when I said we speak about boiling the kettle. So that time we filled the kettle with water, and we're flicking the switch to let it boil. And this is what we're doing with Ed. He's letting him get that water warm, and then we're not until he actually gets to that 500, that's when the kettle's boiled. But it's knowing when to flick the switch on the kettle. So it's a procedure which we did all day and made sure that everything was right with all his food and his fluids, his sleep, and his mental state, which was the biggest thing with any lift, any world record. With a few of the other greats that have lifted huge amounts of weight, it's a mental thing. The body will do so much, but without the head behind it can't really function properly. And that's what Ed had on the day, was that ability to switch both mental and physical energies on at the exact same time. One of the things that still gets me my hairs on my arms still is that day. And Darren and I were probably the last people to touch the weights in the bar, because we plated it and we must have counted the weight maybe 6 or 7 times just to make sure. But then we rolled it because Darren, myself, and Ed are very OCD with everything. Has to be exactly straight, exactly level. So the plates were level, the bar was level, right way around to where the movement, the knurling was, where Eddie wanted it, and where Darren and I knew where it was. The bar was centred to the rubber mats.
There was even a piece of tape we put right in the centre, so you can pull it down. You wanted everything to be
exact,
not a millimetre off. You measured it, put a bit of tape on, so it was exact.
But rolling that 500 kilos, we both said, wow, that feels so heavy. Even rolling it, it was unbelievable. We had to almost have to take a time going, that's the only time we've ever touched 500 kilos. And then, so we're still boiling the kettle, we're getting ready, and he's having a few more drinks, and he's getting his sugars up, and just start to keep boiling the kettle, and then just getting into his mental state. We knew he was ready, or I knew he was ready. With his physical state, he was 198 kilos, just an absolute powerhouse, and just kept boiling the kettle until Darren gave me the red light, the green light for when he came out. I just knew just to tweak a few bits, get him back his emotion reset with what he was saying earlier about having his kids and family under the bar to pull the plate up to get that emotion, flick the switch, and that's history.
Did you think it was going to happen?
Yeah, 100%. 100%, because it's like, I don't know, because he's so, and he won't mind me asking it, because he's so crazy. If he died on that day, provided he lifted, he wouldn't have, he's not bothered. He would not have been bothered. If he come off that lift, and God forbid, croaked it, he'd have been fine with it, because he directed everything he could possibly do in that year to pull in that 500 kilos.
But even backstage, he moves himself away from everyone else. Is that a decision that you made, or is he naturally doing it?
It's mutual, because that's how he works. Because as athletes, we all like to get in the same place. We all have our own little area, but you're still kind of conversation and seeing other things, and that's the great thing about backstage at the Giants comp. Just we're all in with each other, and I think that's great camaraderie. Because at the end of the day, it's like a family, it's a brethren of what we're doing. Because we're all not like-minded. We want to win. We want to do our best, but when we get to big record attempts like this, and this is possibly one of the biggest record attempts ever and obviously the next one will be even better. He just wanted to just separate himself, not as an ego thing, but just so he's away from everyone. And I prefer him to be away from people, just so I can really focus on him and kind of worry not worry, but be aware of how he's sat and what he's doing, what he's saying. And also I check his breathing, I check his heart rate, his sweat levels, his demeanour, just how he is as a characteristic all throughout the day, and especially the hour or so running up to the lift.
I noticed afterwards, like, obviously there was that almost like creating an air of desperation to do it. It wasn't even a mindset. I think he created like, this is serious, I've got to get this because of the bad thoughts that he was trying to get in his mind. Yeah. It was like, look, I must do this, there's no choice. And that was the thing. It wasn't, can I lift this? No. People are going to die if I don't do this. That was his attitude. Yeah. And I think, so he one thing he did is he held it for a long time, which good on him because no one's ever lifted it, so you're going to hold it, aren't you, if you got hold of it. I think that's what made him sort of go a bit dizzy afterwards, because even if, whatever your max deadlift is, if you stand and hold it, it's going to make you go a bit dizzy. Yeah. So he put it down. And what I found was, backstage, it took him ages to come back down to LA. He went a bit spaced out after that, but then he got himself so worked up. As in any situation, if you get yourself so worked up, he couldn't come back down for, I reckon, probably an hour.
Easily, maybe more. I think there was so much build up to it that I think it was a little bit of an anxiety attack in a way.
In the interview, he was fine, because obviously, I think that interview in that moment, he's obviously thought about it. Yeah. What I'm going to say, get the wife and kids over and all this sort of thing. And it was a really nice moment. But then when he went backstage, I think then he was still on the moon. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was a weird place.
It was strange.
And he had to be left alone for a while afterwards. Yes. Because he was strange place for him to be.
Well, take another example, Adam Bishop, who you also work with. Narrow stance, very different to Eddie. What are your thoughts on that? Because again, you work with Bish, you've been part of a man who's pulled more than, at that point, anyone has off the floor in a conventional deadlift. What are your thoughts on Bish's position?
They're totally different athletes. I mean, I would say they're polar opposites. They're very similarities. But Bish is a narrow puller. He's very hammy, glute dominant, whereas Ed is very quad, hip dominant. He has massive legs. That's why he rolls the bar in, because he physically can't get down to the bar because there's so much in the way for him to then pull up. So he lifts in very much like a leg press kind of technique, whereas Bish is very back. He's got that massive backside, massive glutes, huge hamstrings, and he can get his feet position so narrow that it literally just explodes off the floor.
Do you think we'll see Bish coming back? Obviously, he hurt himself getting ready for, not getting ready for, he hurt himself on another show, actually. He tore his chest, I believe.
Yeah, his pec,
So he didn't do the World Deadlift Championships. Do you think he's in his remit to get ready for that again?
Do you know what? I don't think so. I think talking to him a few months ago, just for his wedding, I think he just wants to carry on and still be as passionate with Strongman, still be a great, well-rounded Strongman. I dare say that he could turn his hand to a deadlift record when he wanted to, or if he wants to. But I think for him, moving forward, Britain's is his baby. He wants to hold that title again, and I think he should really be positive with what he's doing. He's brought the sport on with everything. He was never one of the biggest athletes, and he still is now. He sits at a really good 145, 147 kilos. He's 6'3". He moves so well, and his static strength is fantastic as well. So I think he would have to donate a lot of time to do the deadlift, like we tried to do this year, but obviously injury got in the way and everything else. But I think he's just happy and passionate now, immersing himself in competition and doing Brits and maybe Europes and Worlds. I think that for him, that would be better structured, because when you come up, and when we get a really good Bish, we get a really good Bish. And when he's dialed into that competition, he's fantastic. Then he does another competition, he's fantastic. And then let's get him ready for Worlds. He's been so unlucky last couple of years at Worlds. Let's get the best Bish we can. And if that means we back off a few competitions, then that's what we should do.
I mean, you talk about Britain's strongest man, and it used to be, for a Brit, I would say the easiest way to qualify for world's strongest man would take, usually top 4 or 5, depending on who else has qualified during the year. And it was the easiest qualifier for a Brit but now it's not.
No. Well, it's got to be one of the hardest.
This year, if everyone turns up, it's going to be one of the hardest giants. Lads, you're going to have Luke and Tom. You got Lou Richardson coming back. You got Hicksy. You got Bish. You know, and it goes on. You got
Andy Black.
Hey, Gav's come on like so well.
There's so many people.
Unbelievable.
And then you've got a few people coming up that are getting better and better, like Shane Flowers, you know, and there's loads of guys, new guys coming up as well. So it's going to be a hell of a points.
It's going to be a good show.
Hey Shred fans, I think it's a pretty well-known fact that Giants Live and the best strongmen in the world are rather partial to picking up a used car or two.
Away we go! Explosive shot from these men!
But we must admit that our cars are never under 8 years old. And as for the engines, well, they don't even have engines.
That is so close! Wow, that's fast! He just attacked the car!
However, at Hey Car, you buy only the best used cars on the market. All cars come with a warranty, 10-day money-back guarantee, and they're sourced from selected dealers only.
Look at the speed! Wow!
Unlike our beat-up bangers, every car is under 8 years old and has less than 100,000 miles on the clock.
And I'm pretty sure it'll be a world record!
You could browse the range at heycar.co.uk, or why not go to the App Store or Google Play to download the Hey Car app. That's spelled HEYCAR.co.uk. See? Strong men can spell.
Can we talk about another passion of yours, arm wrestling?
No.
Do you take that same passion that you've got for strength, period, into arm wrestling?
Totally, because I did strongman for 22 years, and for me to sort of retire from that due to my sciatica and back and stuff, I had to train for something. So I'm never one of these people that trains and just gets on with it and just does a bit. I can't do that. I have to do 100%. So for me to find another sport almost as probably is actually as quirky, if not quirkier, than strongman would be the arm wrestling. So for me, I've got to hit it 100% because I only know how to train. I only know how to train 100%.
When's the big Loz Frampton showdown going to be?
I'm not sure actually. Luckily, Loz is about 10 years younger than me, so he's still got all the masters to do. And he's doing fantastic because he's out well today for OSG. So he'll do really well with that competition. Purely because of obviously his stature going into it, obviously with his Europe win and all the Britain's wins and all the other bits and pieces. And he's still got I think he's still got a point of proof. You know, he can really upset a lot of the Masters guys. And just because you're 40, you don't have to sort of give up as such. You just dial your training into your kind of what you need to do and maybe tone it down in other bits, but keep pushing through because that's what he's doing. I mean, he's still a strong guy. He's still got a fantastic grip. Still wants to fit. He dropped a bit of weight.
The Masters is, I think Loz is going to do really well, and he's certainly in the list of people that could win it. But you've got Big Z, this one for the last few years. I'm not sure he's there this year.
That is nuts, isn't it?
You've got JF Caron coming back.
That's fantastic.
You've got
Felix.
Idler.
Yeah.
Vidas Bukaitis.
Yeah.
Felix?
Felix is doing the over 50s, how believe it or not, as he's nearly 60. Nearly 60. And there's so many names, Ken McClellan, all these guys.
Yeah.
So although I think Loz can win that, I don't think he can win it just easy.
No, he's got his workout.
Yeah, definitely.
Really good. But that's amazing.
Jerry Pritchett's on about doing it as well.
Is he really?
So there's a lot of names in there that you could still chuck in well strong man that do quite well.
Yeah, you could. Yeah.
It's amazing that in strongman, people want to compete. People don't just want to train. They actually want to find out against people, whether it be masters, whether it be open, whatever, you want to tell it. Because actually one of my biggest criticisms of, let's just take athletics, is when I was at uni, loads of people trained, not many actually competed. People want to be ready. Whereas you feel like with strongman, you know what the date is, you're going to turn up, no matter what package you're bringing, you're turning up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the key specifics to being a good strongman. Is training and training to your best abilities and to keep competition. Competition for me is just the best of both. I still think
it's the best way of learning.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
Can I talk about something that's genuinely haunted me? It's probably now going to haunt everyone who watches this as well. I do not like getting my neck clipped because I always think about things that can go wrong. And usually you think it could hypothetically go wrong.
Oh.
Could we talk about what happened to you when it did go wrong?
Yeah. So that was quite a while ago, actually. That was at the Australian Arnold's, and we were doing it. Darren was helping out with refereeing. Is that what you mean?
It was a Giants.
Giants Live, sorry, yeah. So it was a qualifier or something, wasn't it? Or something in with it. It was a fantastic show, massive expo. And we did day one, went into day two, and we had the, was it log max or was it log for reps? I can't remember.
It was log max. I mean, what was it? I probably remember it better than you because you were slightly unsure of the team.
Yeah, I can't remember. I remember day one, but I can't, anything after that, I can't really remember.
No memories?
No, which is really annoying.
So I'm refereeing this log. This is it from my point of view. And I don't know, whatever it's at, let's say it's a 180 at the time, it's a rising log. And Rob comes out, bends down to pick up the log, almost collapses on it. And he stands up and said, "You all right?" He was, "Yeah, I'm fine." Okay. He just looked a bit dizzy. And I know obviously I've got a duty of care, I might have to stop him. And he's like, "No, I'm fine." Goes down to pick up the log again, almost collapsed again. Every time he bent down, he almost passed out. And then the third time, he just went down, gone.
And the bit that led to that.
So I'd been warming up, and I'd had this from the day one. I'd had a little feeling in my shoulder blade, which is normally a rib. I sometimes get a rib out if I deadlift or I do like farms or something. So went to the physio. It was there, the chiro guy, and I said, "Look, can you give me a little bit of a help here? I've got a rib out in my shoulder blade. It just needs popping in." He's like, "Yeah, sure, no worries." So left me on the bed, had a little feel with bang, 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 and popped 2 ribs in. And it's that lovely sensation. Everything feels like really good. So thanks so much. I said, "Oh, can I just switch you over, like turn me onto my back, and just give me a quick MOT, make sure everything's all right?" I said, "Yep, fine." And that's normally the protocol, isn't it? So he made sure all my legs and everything was all nice and straight, and hips are right, and everything else. And then he moved on to my neck, and I'm thinking, oh, he's just going to do what he did with my legs, give me a little straighten and everything else. Nope, he's had a little wiggle with my head, and I've got a massive head, so he's given it a good wiggle, and then he's clicked it to one side, and I've got like 2 or 3, and I think that's sort of normal. So I was like, oh, okay. And then he went, "Oh, you're a big lad. I'm just going to try your other side." He said, "You got to relax." And normally when you do one, you don't really feel it, do you? But it's that other side you got to like really try and relax. So as he's done that, he's really pressured my neck and into my chin here and given it full beans. And he's got like, I think, from what I can remember, about 6 or 7 clicks out of my neck. So I've got up. Well, it took me a while to get up because now the ceiling is spinning. And I've got up off the table, and I've instantly started to be sick. So I'm vomiting. So he's like, "Oh, you're okay?" I'm like, "I don't know, mate. Like, I don't think my neck's meant to make that noise." It does sometimes. I said, "Yeah, but I do want my neck doing." So I'm still being sick in this bin. So he said, "You'll be all right." I said, "Well, I don't know, but I don't feel very well, and I'm still being sick. So I'm still vomiting. This is 20 minutes, so I'm being sick." So I'm staying there, and I think I've got to get back because I'm sure I'm going to be doing like a log or something in a minute, and that's what I'll only come in here for a quick MOT. So I've walked back, and I've gone into the athletes bit, and from what people are saying, I sort of sat, but I was there, but I wasn't there. And people were trying to ask me, and ready, and I was like, "There's I've gone out to the event with a log, and I can kind of think that I'm there, but I'm not there at all." So I then go back, and then I'm kind of out, I'm sort of conscious but not conscious. So they had obviously a paramedic team there that were great. They were obviously with the whole expo, and they put me into a position because of my neck. I kind of told them what I remember from the chiro, and the chiropractor was there now with me. So he's then told them what he did. So because of the size of me, they didn't have a neck brace big enough, so they had to wrap a towel around me and sort of duct tape this towel around my neck. Which didn't really look cool, but there we go. And then my stats were going down, everything wasn't going right, my blood pressure dropped, and I was in and out. So they called an ambulance. I had to get ambulance to the hospital, and then spent 3 days, 3 nights in the hospital with a possible nick in my carotid artery and a kink to my carotid artery. Anything less than a couple of mil, if you'd done any more, I'd have had a stroke, caused me to stroke.
But it's unreal. Come to think of it as well, we were talking when we had lunch earlier about, let's say you're doing Olympic lifting, you take the bar to your chest. If you're going to jerk it, if you bail, you're fine. If you even passed out, you're fairly safe.
There's a little bit more to this story.
So, go on.
The guy who did it wasn't even our medic.
No, it wasn't nothing.
He was a guy that just walked past and decided straight up, he was a physio, but it was nothing to do with our show. He just said, "I'll go out."
Yeah, nothing to do with the team.
So Rob jumped on this bed. This guy's nothing to do with us. So we had to sort of find him afterwards, and obviously it was, it could have been really serious. And I was like,
because I was trying to get out of pain insurance.
which guy was it that treated Rob? And they were like, none of us. Well, there's only you lot here that we've hired. It was just a guy that had come in, and Rob had just got on the bed, and this guy started treating him.
Some random.
It was a physio. How random is that?
That is
Which made the whole thing like so weird. Like, so we're at this show. Rob's come across with us. We're in Melbourne. He's in hospital in big trouble, and I'm like, well, who's done this to him? Oh, just some guy who decided to start helping the medical crew, and somehow got away with it.
Yeah,
it was the most random thing. And at the time, Rob sort of brushes over it, but it was really serious because he almost died. Simple as that.
Another meal of the correction, and I'd have bled out. It would have taken me 15 minutes.
So literally 1 mil of a movement.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I had all my CAT scans and X-rays and all this one where you have the fluid, the ink put up, and you can see, and it was the fluid went and then went to this bit and then went like a corkscrew round where he clipped it.
Yeah, to sit totally still for 3 days.
Yeah,
couldn't fly home or anything like that. To sit totally still while everything sort of just hand.
Isn't that amazing? I actually didn't know it was quite so close to being really bad.
Yeah, bad. Like I said, another meal, and if it had bled, depending on how it would have ripped or how would it rip, it is literally in that balance of it. Any more, and that's it. No more Rob.
Well, we're grateful that
I
didn't have that extra meal. Also, we know the one thing, you are as hard as nails. From injury standpoint, what have been some of your worst injuries other than that?
I had a anvil break my arm, my ulnar. That was quite cool. And so I did it's called a green fracture, so it sort of splits it, and it sort of splinters.
What we carried, Nando, was it?
I had to load it at a qualifier, and it was a 180 anvil, and as I picked it up, it rocked, then came back over and hit me straight on the side of the arm. But like typical me, I carried on with the comp. Well, I did the deadlift.
With a shattered ulnar?
Yeah, with a split ulnar. They taped it up. The Red Cross guy was not happy with me, but I had to qualify, see, that's the thing.
Did you qualify?
Yeah.
Of course you did.
And then about 8 weeks later, I had the plaster on, and about maybe 6 weeks later, Loz and I did a team event down in Somerset or Devon, and he said, how are you feeling? Do you want me to get some? I might pull out of the team event. I might get someone else. I went, no, I'm going to come and do it. He went, but you broke your arm. I went, nah, I'll be fine. So that night I cut my plaster off, and I drove down the weekend. It's like, are you sure? I went, yeah, it'll be fine. Look, that's
all paracetamol.
Yeah, paracetamol. I had to sign a waiver to the obviously the guys there, and we won that as well.
Yes.
The first ever show that I promoted was called Clash of the Giants. Before I got involved with Giants Live, and Rob won that. It was outside my gym.
Yeah,
that was my first step into promoting. It was outside my gym, and I wasn't going to World's Strongest Man because I was ill at the time. So it was for my place at World's Strongest Man that year. And it was a good lineup. Eddie Hall was there. He just started.
Eddie,
a lot of big names there. Rob won that, which got him his place in World's Strongest Man.
What was it that made you start with Strong? Because now, obviously, people see the likes of Eddie Hall, and you can see a trajectory of, I can do this, I can do it full time, I'll get to perform in front of crowds, I'll get big, get strong, get famous possibly. Back then, that wasn't the case.
No, I don't watch it on the telly with Jeff Capes and Kaz. So I thought, I need to do that. It's a child thing, because I see it as a kid, like 8 years old. Like I didn't think I was going to be make a profession out of it, but I certainly wanted to be there. And it's just, I don't know, just being the strongest you can be. Just I don't know. It's just weird. I think back then it was competition. I loved the buzz of competition. It was just fantastic.
And what's your proudest achievement? In fact, would it be the coaching side or would it be the competing side?
Yeah, I think I can just look back now and I think I'm a better coach than I was an athlete, because you can be strong, but the first, I think 2010 when I did Worlds, I was in with was a journalist, I think. So you kind of have to accept that.
He was quite good, wasn't he?
He was just unbelievable. And then the second year I was in with Misha Gurklaev and Mike Jenkins, bless his heart. And that was, so you kind of like thought, I always tried to train to my best ability, and I always tried to be the strongest I could. And I was strong, but then you get yourself into worlds and you realise that, crikey, I'm strong, but I need to be really strong and really fit.
Well, those guys there you talk about, Jenkins at that time was top 5 easily world, and so was Misha Gurklaev. It's tough when you go from a British level and do pretty well. Then when you get over there with those guys,
it's baptism of fire, isn't it?
There's some,
I think winning Darren's, that's my pinnacle moment.
With a broken arm.
No, I was fresh that one. That's when
no broken bone.
Yeah, that was broken. That was when Ed was there, and you had Jake Hughes and Pops. You had Dave Warner, Gary Gardner, all of the good strong boys. And the events just suited me. It was log for reps, steady for reps. Farmers, which wasn't good because I don't know. Sometimes I'm good on farmers, but obviously we had the frame incident in Poland, where I couldn't even pick it up. But that's another story. Yoke, which I was always very good at, and stones to finish. So it just, it was all really good for me.
It was the first show. It was outside my gym. It was a nice show, but it wasn't anything fancy. But actually, the stakes were really high. So you think about it. This is a World Strongest Man qualifier outside my gym.
One place,
winner takes all. And they said, when I wasn't going to World that year, they said, we're going to invite so-and-so. And I said, well, that's wrong. That's not the right person to invite. And I was a bit like, well, I think you should take that person instead of me. So that, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's get them all together. And I'll put on a little show. And that's how I got into promoting. So we put on this show. And it was all the people that had done really well but hadn't quite qualified for World. Simple as that. So then I'm dropping out. I was sort of top 3 in Britain at that time. Sort of Terry and probably Jimmy Marker and Mike Felix around that sort of time. We were going out there. Lawrence was out there that year as well. And so, like I said, this show, it was a nice show, but the stakes were high.
Yeah, right.
They were really high. It was a very important show, and Big Rob won it.
Fantastic.
One final question from me, because I know if I listen to a podcast and someone says that's a story for another day, I'll think, I want to hear that story. Can we hear the Polish frame story?
So Darren and I, we always go on about this one, and it's probably one of the funniest, most embarrassing things ever. And we did a show. Jarosław qualifier, Polish qualifier. So there was all the elite Polish guys there, and the journalist that went for the log record as well.
Well, this was when I was involved in Giants. Yeah, so I was there as an official.
Oh.
So this is different.
About 2015, 16, was it?
Something like that. Something like that. And so Rob's competing, doing quite well. It was in like an amphitheatre, really nice.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was Luke Stallman's first Giants. Yeah, it was Pat Dwyer's first. I think you had like Lalas and people like that there. Big Z was there. Big Z got a world record log.
Did, yeah. And he was in this beautiful Polish amphitheatre, and there was this guy there, and he was like the Anton Deck of Poland, basically. But obviously he was speaking Polish, and he'd be like talking, and then you'd hear your name in the, so it's all Polish. Then he'd hear your own name, and everyone's just pointing and laughing at you. So obviously he was just taking the mick, you know what I mean? So Rob comes out to do this frame walk, and he goes down to it, and it's all serious and grunting and all this sort of thing. So I blows the whistle. He couldn't lift it. So he goes, trying to lift this frame walk, he can't lift it. So I'm like, come on, Rob, come on, you can do it, mate. And then this comedian guy just says something. Thousands of people are just like laughing at him and pointing. So he's there trying to lift it. So I turned around, everyone's just, I don't know what he said in Polish, but he was like this Polish, and then he was like, Rob Frampton, haha, like that. And then everyone just like laughing. So I was like, this is so bad. So I'm trying to keep a straight face. I'm saying, come on, Rob, you can do it, mate. So time's ticking down. We've only got 60 seconds. We've got to about 50, so I've got my whistle like that. Goes to blow it. And as I flew it, I started laughing. So it flew out of my mouth and flew into the scroll. So I'm on my hands and knees. He's still trying to lift it. Everyone's laughing at me trying to find this whistle. And I just couldn't. So I blew the whistle while I was laughing. And
it was comical. You know when something's so comical? And this for love of my, I could put this frame up. It was horrible. Everything was, the log that Z had used and this frame was all powder coated, so it was all smooth and it looked fantastic, but to pick it up was horrible. So I'm trying to pick this up and I'm like, this is just not going.
Do you only get the giggles? You know, when you can't stop laughing, and the lads came up to me and said that was really bad. That I was like, God. And I was like, right, all right, yeah, you're right. It was unprofessional. It was wrong. So I'm going to go apologise. So Rob has obviously gone behind the tennis, pissed off. So I was walking up to him, you know, like, I'm going to have to apologise for this. And I got up to him and burst out laughing again. But we had a cuddle, didn't we?
Yeah, it was funny. That's funny.
That's
Nothing else you could do, really. It was just the way that this guy was like saying my name, and then all thousands of people were laughing. And then
I'd love to know what he has.
I would. Yeah. Darren's there, like, he's going, come on, mate, come. Right, last 10, and it says something, it's gone. But that
proved to me.
It, and the whistle's just gone into the gravel. It's like,
it proved two things to me. One is that laughter's infectious.
yes, definitely.
Because I was laughing and I didn't know what I was laughing at. Just everyone else was. And two, Rob sheer framework.
Yeah, that was both perfect. But it's the way his whistle just like comically went into the ground. He's still like you can see his ribs and his body laughing while he's on all fours trying to find his whistle. Cracked me up.
We've come a long way from then, though.
Yeah, with no more whistles. Yeah, it was good. Really good.
Rob, it's been a pleasure, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Are we going to see you at Liverpool?
Yes, you will. Yeah, for the teams. Yeah, go UK, go England, go everything. It's going to be amazing. Well, the US they're putting on a good team as always. We always, the teams were fantastic last year, weren't they?
Yeah, I think the US team's a little bit better than it was last year.
I think they've tweaked it, haven't they?
Yeah, yeah. I think it's a little bit better. No disrespect to anyone who was there before, but I think it's going to be a hell of a battle because the UK team's great, but the US team, having Singleton in there is...
Yeah, it's going to add a little bit more punch to it, but yeah, it'll be good. I'm excited.
Are tickets still available?
Tickets still available, and it'll be on officialstrongman.com for the live stream.
And the date of the event?
Is the 18th of November, I think.
That's why he's the promoter. He knows the dates, he knows the times, he knows the money. Rob, thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Cheers.